Can you change your life in 30 days? 3 books to change how you look at the world. How many of your thoughts are truly your own? Have you ever taken the time to analyze one of your thoughts to determine its epistemology? Where did it come from? Have you questioned its validity and the criteria you have applied to determine its truth? From birth, you are constantly presented with information that shapes your thinking and subsequent actions. It is an inevitability. Parents shape your home life based on their concepts of raising children. Religion shapes your value based on the doctrine of the church. Schools shape your knowledge based on the information that they decide to present to you as truth. But in this present time, nothing can influence your thoughts like the power of popular media. In a span of less than 100 years, influence has moved from print to radio, to television, to the internet. Like a designer drug, it has been refined and tweaked for maximum impact and effect. What are the consequences when the wrong influence takes hold? Why do abused children often grow up to be abusive parents? Why does a church conceal a history of deviant behaviors among its clergy members? Why do you believe that a unified scientific body has determined the truth of global warming? Good or bad, influence results in consequence. Those who do not share your best interests understand the power of influence. Their ancestors have quite literally wrote the book on the subject. They have narrowed your ability to focus on concepts and reduced the presentation of complex narratives to single paragraphs. Many internet articles now include a note at the beginning stating the amount of time that it will take to read the page, knowing full well that if the number is too high, readers will reject it outright. If you cannot invest even the slightest amount of time, do you think you are really getting the full scope of information on that topic? I was once having a discussion with my very bright niece about a particular political topic. She was younger at the time and filled with the energy and righteous indignation that youth brings. After she had finished her statement, I asked her about the last time she had read a nonfiction book on a topic, not an article, social media post, or blog. She said she didn't like nonfiction because it was difficult to stay focused over the course of a long book. I told her that I understood her point, but asked that the next time she was at the library or bookstore, she pick up a nonfiction book on the subject we were discussing and check the references to see how many books, articles, interviews, etc. that the author had to research to write that book. I asked her to consider how much time the author had to spend on that topic. Then I asked her a straightforward question. Do you think you are qualified to have a proper debate with the author based on what you have learned through popular media? Is it possible to have a truly independent thought? Setting aside the philosophical debate for a moment, let us assume that being presented a choice between options results in deduction. Though sometimes deduction can be flawed, it is still an act of reasoning, and that implies some level of individual thought. For those who do not share your best interests, it is imperative to control this action and reduce your options for deduction and rationalization. It is imperative to them that the information and influence you receive is controlled and abridged, knowing that by reducing your world to sound bites, it makes it easier to control your thoughts and beliefs. Your life is now shaped by their influence. If you want to change the world, start by examining yourself. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and ask the following questions. Why do you think the way you think? Where do your beliefs come from? Who controls what you see, hear, or read? Knowledge is power, and some great work has been done to help protect you from the influence of those who do not share your best interests and give you the power of choice. There are 3 books, and yes, some time investment is required to read them, that can change your life by changing your understanding of the world. They will help you understand the mechanisms of influence, parties involved, the techniques that they use, and offer life-changing advice to help you become a better thinker, decision-maker, and person. Let's take a closer look at each of these. Book number 1, Rule by Secrecy by Jim Marrs, 2001. 480 pages, or 48 pages per day for 10 days. Many people will often refer to they when speaking of those who do not share your best interests. A common challenge from skeptics of an organized power elite is to ask the question, who are they? This work goes into great detail to define they and show their history and interconnectedness. Though sometimes derided as a work of conspiracy, This book contains fastidiously researched details and presents how influence is controlled and distributed. If this book were mandatory reading at the high school level, it would lead to a change in the structure of law and government. If you want to be awake and not just woke, then this is a must-read. Book number 2, Trust Us, We're Experts: How Industry Manipulates Science and Gambles with Your Future, by Sheldon Rampton and John C. Stauber, 2002. 368 pages, or 37 pages a day for 10 days. Who is Edward Bernays? If you don't know this name, you should. This individual has had an incredible impact on modern society, and almost no one has heard of him. If you believe your thoughts are your own, read this book. This is a critical examination of the power of the influence of modern public relations. Illuminating on its own, it is outright frightening when combined with the information presented in Rule by Secrecy. This book should also be mandatory reading at the high school level and will change the way you evaluate the processing of information presented to you by corporate media. As Sun Tzu stated, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." Book number 3, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, by Joseph Murphy, 1963. 288 pages, or 29 pages a day for 10 days. Billed as a self-help work, this is a far more powerful investigation into the power of belief. Unlike the other works covered, this book focuses on improving yourself by changing the way you look at the world. To change yourself, it is not enough to go through the motions, it must become core belief. Only then can you manifest a better life and better world. Those who do not share your best interests want you to believe that improvement can only come from outside power, namely power that they can wield. This work tells you otherwise. Not only can this book help give you a tool set to defend against the negative influences surrounding you, it can help you to better understand the meaning and purpose of your journey through this life. These works can quite literally change your life by changing the way you look at your life. They can help give you tools to examine your thoughts and protect you against undue influence. In our lessons, we have talked about the importance of choke points and thinking instead of feeling. Questioning information that is presented to you is not wrong. Do not confuse honest inquiry with the rejection of provable data. When it becomes acceptable to silence the individual simply for asking a question, you know that an agenda has taken hold. Truth does not fear investigation. Consider these books. Spread their message and become practiced and skilled at asking questions, especially when it comes to your own thoughts and beliefs. Your thoughts may never be totally your own, but you should at least have some say in the matter. For convenience, links to these works are included in the description section of this video, and please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Time heals all wounds.